So now we have the R750 set up and prepared to do an actual drain cleaning demonstration. So the purpose of this video is to show you correct practice and the way to use the R750 whilst actually on the job. So you can see here we're now using the R750 but with a 7/8 or a 22mm cable, and then we have a straight drill attached to the end of the cable, and we have a shower waste here. So I'm going to insert the cable into the shower waste. So where possible, when doing all types of drain cleaning, it's best to try and have the machine in line with the drain as best as you can. So we have the first metre of the cable exposed out the front of the machine with the straight drill attached to the end of the cable, of which I'm now going to insert just into the front or the top edge of the drain. Now what I'm going to do is pull out the first section of cable and then insert the cable a bit further down the drain until I feel some resistance. It's then at this time that I want to turn the machine on in the forwards direction. You can see that we have a forward wound cable, and so with the machine turning the cable in the forwards direction, it's going to want to help get itself around the trap or the gully or whatever it is that you're trying to get around. In this case, it's going to be the floor waste trap, of which we have in the shower situation that we have set up here. So the way that I want to operate this machine before turning it on is I want to pull out what I call a working loop. So I'm going to pull the cable out into a working loop, bearing in mind that we've already put it down and it's not going to go down by itself, and so that's the time when I want to turn the machine on. So it's going to be pull out a working loop, engage the clutch handle like so, and then just put minimal pressure on that working loop until it gets itself down around the trap, and then I'm going to release. I'm going to pull out another loop, engage the handle, forward pressure down on the working loop until it runs out of stroke, and then I need some more cable. So an easy way to remember, the best way to operate the machine is pull out a working loop, engage the clutch, light pressure down until you're out of stroke. Release the clutch, pull out another working loop, engage the clutch, forward pressure down until you run out of stroke. That's the best way to operate this machine and or any drain cleaning machine. So I'm going to turn the machine on now in the forwards direction. So you see now, without me pressing the handle or the clutch, the cable's just sitting there, it's not spinning. So now when I put out my first working loop, I then engage the clutch handle and then press down on the end of the cable. Until such time, as you'll see now, it's just gone around the bend and I've run out of that working loop. So then I'll pull out another working loop, engage the clutch handle, forward pressure down until I run out of stroke. Pull out working loop, engage the clutch handle, forward pressure down, run out of stroke, release the handle. Pull out more cable, engage, light pressure down, release. See now that I've come to the end of the first section of cable. Now if I was working in a hotel stack situation where I've got almost a straight vertical drop, it's easy to see that the weight of the cable and with the fall and the direction of the drain, the tendency is going to want to be for the cable to slide away from me. If you are in that situation and you're the only one working and you don't have any assistance, we have a neat little feature on the R750 machine, in which we have this little tang which is positioned on the front of the machine. The purpose of this tang is for me to put that coupling attached to the machine, so now all of the weight of the machine is holding that cable and preventing it from falling all the way down the drain, and therefore losing the cable and cutter all the way down the drain and then causing yourself problems that you would rather not have. So now I would then have another cable of which I would bring in and I would insert in through the machine. I would then Once the cable is through the machine and then back through the guide hose, I can then take off this section of cable. I will then hook on another cable, and then I will just continue that process all the way through until I encounter the blockage. Now all of the feedback will come back through the cable, and this is telling you exactly what's happening down the drain. It will tell you the difference between going around a trap, going around a bend, or ultimately when you encounter the blockage. You noticed before when I first started to insert the cable down the drain, the cable was still spinning freely and it was coming back onto my hand, but I could still feel the cable spinning through on my studded glove here. The difference between going around a trap and encountering a blockage is that the cable, when I encounter the blockage, the cable will then stop and it will start to give me feedback like that. But when the cable isn't spinning freely, you know that you're either caught up in the blockage, and at the cutter end has stopped, and everywhere else in between you're going to be putting tension on the cable. That's when you know that you're going to be caught up in the blockage, and that's the time to stop putting forward pressure on the cable and just to pull back slightly, engage the clutch, making sure that the cable's spinning freely, and then you know that the cutter is at the face of the blockage. And then all it's your job then to do is just to use one working loop. So I pull back ever so slightly, and then all I want to do then is turn the machine on again. I want to engage the clutch, so it's spinning the cable. And all I want to do is just work it. I want to work it up and down like that, so that the cable is still spinning freely in my hands. So that way you know the cable isn't caught up on anything, and then you can go a little bit more. So what you want to do is you want to get the situation where the end of the cutter on the end of the cable is doing that, going out and just eating away at the face of the blockage until such time as you loosen the blockage, and the weight of water or the head of water behind the blockage will then force the obstruction through because you've loosened it up sufficiently. So now we've cleared the blockage in the drain, and now it's time to extract the cable from the drain. And you're just operating it in exactly the reverse way of what you were putting it into the drain. So you want to turn the machine on, you want to pull back on the cable, but instead of putting forward pressure down going into the drain, you now want to put the pressure back coming into the machine. So it's just like that, pull it up, back into the machine. Pull it up, back into the machine. Now eventually you're going to get to the point where it's not going to want to come back freely around the track there, but that's where the end of the cutter is. And so now this is when you use the machine to help spin the cable, to help reverse it and come back around the trap. So with an upward pressure, I then engage the cable, and you see now how it becomes loose, and so now it's become free of the trap, and I can just keep on pulling it back into the machine, and now we have the cutter. So you can imagine now, and this is a really good example of why I wanted to really emphasise the fact of how important it is to use the guide hose in all situations whenever you're using the R750 machine. So you can imagine now that we're in someone's house or in someone's factory, and because we've got the guide hose, the cable is being supported all the way down the full length of the cable. You can imagine that if we didn't have the guide hose attached to the machine, we would then have this whole free length of cable coming out the back of the machine, and when it's being engaged by the clutch jaws, that this cable would be thrashing around all over the place and causing all sorts of untold damage inside your customer's house. Thank you for taking part in the Super Ego drain cleaning session today. If you have any other questions regarding any of the Super Ego drain cleaning equipment, please don't hesitate to contact Super Ego Australia. Thank you.